Nishchal Pandey, Director of Center of South Asian Studies in Kathmandu, to discuss about strategic implication of South Asian regional integration. Welcome, Chair.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, you have been working in South Asian affairs and strategic issues for several years in different capacities. So, I want to ask some questions about strategic implication of South Asian economic integration. Now, according to your belief system and your evaluation, what is the state of economic integration of South Asia and how to kind of assess that?
Well, South Asia has been a single geo-economic entity during the prehistoric times. South Asia was a very prosperous region. It was a better connected region before. Only in the modern times, we have, due to various reasons, political reasons primarily, we have been lagging behind. And if you see the progress of Europe, if you see the progress of Southeast Asia, and even in Africa nowadays, they are well connected and integrated as a single market, as a single economic entity, primarily because they shelved the political issues and progressed towards a better environment and a better infrastructure, a better educational system for the people of those regions. Primarily taking cue from the economic integration model, there was also political problems between France and Germany, the two largest members of that region. There was also problems between various internal political issues was also there. But they shelved those issues thanks to towering personalities like Konrad Adenauer, like Charles de Gaulle. They moved towards the path of economic integration. And today, when we go to Europe, we just need a single visa. We can go from one country to another. There is a single currency. This is what we should aim for in South Asia. Because
everybody is talking about regional engagement, especially a lot of Indian politicians, policymakers. But now, when we look at objective, even though it's politically correct to talk about regional integration in South Asia, why it's important to have a regional integration or economic integration in South Asia, like in Europe?
Why it is important, and not only India, but I think other academics, strategic analysts, economists, civil society activists have been talking about it throughout the South Asian region. Why we need economic integration in South Asia is because we cannot compete with one another and compete with the world thereby. Nepalese products, Nepalese jute, Nepalese tea cannot compete with Bangladesh and India and Sri Lanka. We need to compete with the wider world. And South Asia as a whole needs to compete with the wider world as a single market, as a single economic entity. When we come together, we become powerful. When we are single states, we are weak as we are now. Therefore, I think if the border infrastructure is improved, if it becomes eventually a customs union, if we have a single currency, if the border becomes irrelevant in South Asia, the people of South Asia will gain.
But then you are talking about all the possible aspects. Now this has been kind of discussed for so many years. Why is it happening? What are the challenges? What are the obstacles of actually realizing?
The foremost challenge is lack of regional leadership in South Asia. There is a lack of political will. The only regional organization that we have for all the 8 countries of South Asia is the South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation, SAARC. It has achieved in a lot of ways, but it has its shortfalls, its progress, its achievements have been rather modest. Everybody has acknowledged that, but who is to be blamed for a slow progress of SAARC? I think it is the governments of South Asian countries, and thereby it is the people of South Asia. When we look at the progress of other regional economic entities, we have seen that there is a need of regional leadership. There is a dire need in South Asia of a leadership that knows the imperative of coming together, that values the importance of coming together for the sake of the economic development of the people of South Asia. For instance, infrastructure connectivity in South Asia, which we have been talking about. There was a time, not so long ago, when a vehicle from Pakistan could travel via India all the way to Dhaka and over to Rangoon. There was a time when people of Bangladesh could travel across India and vice versa. But we have been putting restrictions now. So in a way we are going opposite to what the European experience is.
Your experience, I mean, the example is very relevant to my next question. That is now, let's say now we have more integrated South Asia, and what are the strategic implications? How that will affect security, safety, other issues, not necessarily economic. So, this assessment on strategic implications.
SARC was envisioned without a political or a security role.
Right.
It was very suitable at that time in 1985 because if we had been bogged down in security and political issues at that time, we would not have excelled. We would not have even reached where we are today. I think it was a very wise decision at that time of the leaders of South Asia of that time. But now perhaps we need to look beyond these parameters and at least from the think tanks level, from the track 2 level, from the track 1.5 level, we need to chalk out the differences between South Asian countries. What are the problems in political issues, other issues in South Asia, and we have been doing it thanks to the role that the Regional Center for Strategic Studies of Sri Lanka has taken from the last 2 decades. In this issue. I think it's a pioneering institute in South Asia which has taken this issue forward. Now there are a lot of other institutes in South Asia. Center for South Asian Studies is one of them, which discusses in a free and frank manner a lot of these issues of bilateral tensions, issues of security cruxes in South Asia, which has been impending, hindering the progress of South Asia.
So I want to ask now, like what Nepal as a country can play in terms of that?
Nepal has been playing a constructive role for the progress of South Asia, for the progress of the idea of regional cooperation in South Asia. As you know, we have the SARC Secretariat based in Kathmandu. I think that also proves that Nepal is a bipartisan, a very free democratic country in which we have a very easy visa regime. Indians and Pakistani participants of any event can come together at any time. Bangladeshi nationals don't need a visa, they can get visa on arrival, Sri Lankans as well, and you know it very well. Indians don't need a visa to travel to India. We have been trying to pursue the idea of South Asian consciousness, the idea of South Asian-ness in South Asia, in which we can promote the region as a whole. Unfortunately, due to political instability in the last few years, Nepal internal politics has not been so conducive. But that does not matter. There are civil society think tanks, there are track 2, there are numerous senior individuals who have been very active in this whole exercise.
So then my last question is now, the discussion is being actually towards Sri Lankan audience. So I want to ask, according to your assessment, since you are a South Asian expert, what role Sri Lanka can play in integrated South Asia or integrated South Asia?
Sri Lanka is today a proud nation. We have comprehensively defeated terrorism in your country. I think your tourism, your trade is doing very well. I think you need to keep the pace, the momentum going. Political stability, as we have realized in Nepal, is the prima facie is important for any kind of developmental activity. I think Sri Lanka today is a proud nation. I think it has a very good leadership. I think your internal politics is stable. Now, I think Sri Lanka, on the international stage, in the regional fora, it needs to play a more active role. It has been playing. Now it needs to play a more active role. As far as the economic integration is concerned, we have a very good pool of economists, people who have excelled in international forums and regional platforms, people like Ambassador Nihal Rodrigo, Saman Kaligam, and numerous other people in Sri Lanka have done so well internationally. They need to now talk to the government, and the government needs to support these endeavors, and institutes like the RCSS need to have some kind of a strategic dialogue, strategic platform where all South Asians can come together and talk about these issues, especially on the issues of economic integration, because we are very well placed in between the Pacific, in between the Indian Ocean, within a very close proximity with the Maldives, and with the Southeast Asian countries like Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia. I think you are the link for a lot of us in South Asia with Southeast Asia. So I think my best wishes are with the people of Sri Lanka.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.